Today, we are going to talk about the concept of social work. Social work, what does it mean? Before diving deep into the topic, let's get the meaning of the concept clear. A concept is a word or a set of words that express a general idea about something. We can say that concepts are really the basis for forming a theory of any subject or any topic. Here, the concept of social work would be complete when we take in account different questions which strike everybody's mind, like what, why, how, who, when, and these simple questions actually give us a complete picture of any concept. In this slide, I have tried to put up some questions related to the concept of social work, which would help us to frame the meaning of the term social work, which would help us to provide enough literary material for the term social work. The very first question which strikes our mind is, what is social work? What is the probable meaning of social work? Next, why it is needed? What is the need for social work? Then, how it is done, when it is needed, and who actually need social work. So, moving ahead, let's focus on the very first question, and that is, what is social work? In this slide also, I have tried to come up with certain words which would help us to define and to get to the meanings of the social work. Help. What do you think? Social work is a help? Yes, social work is a help which is provided to people when they are in a problematic condition. Is social work a service? Yes, social work is a kind of service. It's a kind of activity. It's a welfare activity which is provided to solve the problems of the people. We can say social work is a system. Why it is a system? It's a system because it includes skills. It includes different methods and techniques to solve the problems of the people. In this sense, we can say that social work is an art. Why it is an art? Because the person who provides social work service has to be artistic, has to be enough skilled to provide the services in a much, much better way. Is social work a science? Yes, social work is a science. When we talk about science, we have to be very clear that science talks about a systematic body of knowledge. Science is reliable. Science has to be proved. So, here, when it comes to social work is a science in a way that social work applies a scientific method, a scientific approach to know the problems of the people, to study them in variety of settings, and then to provide the probable solutions according to the problems of the people. I would like to quote a very simple example that a person may have a problem. Many people can have the same problem, but the solution cannot be one. So, the responsibility of the social worker or of social work as a subject is more burdened with the fact that it has to provide numerous options to the people to solve their problem. One word is more attached here, and that is charity. See, here charity word can be associated with social work, but in modern times, it's not a charity. When we talk about the history of social work, we can say that it has been an act of charity, an act of philanthropy, but nowadays in modern times, it's more of a professional activity. So, moving ahead, for the word profession, we can say that social work is a professional service. Now, we'll be talking about why social work is needed. It's a very general question that why we need social work. Is there a desire in people to solve their problems? Yes. We shouldn't forget that as we march triumphantly towards 21st century, life has become a bed of roses, but life is also a bed of thorns. We live in a very fast moving world with all sorts of amenities which make our life easier, comfortable, and smooth. But just pause for a second and think the other way around. We are actually living in a world where all sorts of problems exist: terrorism, drug abuse, juvenile delinquency, problems of children, of women, of old age, problems of the environment, of society, of culture. There are numerous problems to quote. Besides, emotional and psychological problems are rampant. And what does it seems? It seems that there is an entangled web of problems and miseries around a man. But there is always a desire in men to overcome these difficulties, to come out of a web of these problems, but he doesn't find a way. Here, what is actually needed is a well planned way or a process by which he can overcome his problems. And there is one such field, and that is of social work. So, social work is needed to help people, to heal them from their problems, to provide solutions to their problems. Social work is needed to bring a positive change in human behavior by enhancing their coping mechanism, by bringing a change in their behavior, in their outlook to see the problem and how to tackle it. Social work is needed to bring overall happiness and well being in the lives of the people. These are certain points which I would like to elaborate further as we move ahead. This has been a simple description and a short description of what is social work, why it is needed, then moving ahead, how social work is provided. So, in short, let's talk about how social work is provided. Firstly, it is a helping hand. It is a healing profession. We can say it is a scientific and systematic profession, as I had already mentioned earlier. It is also ameliorative and creative profession. Why creative? Because it keeps on studying new things. It keeps on bringing about a change in human behavior through different perspectives, through different angles, and through different methods which are already available and which we are continuously flourishing as per the problems of the people. We can say social work is also provided through an educational process. We are studying social work as a subject in schools and in colleges more promptly, and this provides us with a brief and the detailed knowledge of the subject. Then When social work is needed, it's quite simple. When any sort of condition which troubles us, we need certain help for it. For example, when we are feeling sick, when we are not well, we find shelter in a doctor, isn't it? So, whenever there is a situation of turmoil, whenever our coping mechanism fails, whenever there is a breakdown of social structure, or whenever there is a fight of inner self and the outer world, and we fail to adjust and adapt to the prevailing conditions, we need a help, and that help is rendered in form of social work. Quite simple. Who needs social work? This is very simple question. Any sort of help is needed by whom? Anyone who is in distress, isn't it? Anyone who is in problem, isn't it? So, social work is needed by anyone who is in a problem. So, this anyone can be elaborated here as I have tried to elaborate in the present slide. Men, women, children, youth, old age people. Then, handicapped people, whether they are physically or mentally disabled. Social work is needed for the underprivileged people so that they can come up to a particular standard and can live a more fulfilling life. It is needed by urban and rural people, by tribal people. It is needed by upper class people or lower class people. There are a number of services which are provided in social work, whether it is medical social work, psychiatric social work. So, the field of social work is vast as ocean, and it is being given to anyone in condition of distress, anyone who fails to adapt to the conditions.